Chapter 1: The Talking Cat. Emily let out a heavy sigh as she stared out the window, watching the rain pour down in sheets. It was another rainy day, and she was bored out of her mind. "There's nothing to do," she grumbled, flopping back onto the couch. Her loyal cat, Whiskers, jumped up and curled up next to her, purring softly. "I'm sorry you're feeling down, Emily," Whiskers suddenly said, his voice smooth and wise. Emily's eyes widened in shock as she sat up straight. "Did you just talk?" she asked, hardly daring to believe it. "Yes, my dear," Whiskers replied, fixing his intelligent green eyes on her. "I am no ordinary cat. I have been waiting for you, Emily." Emily stared at him, mouth agape. "Waiting for me? What do you mean?" Whiskers stretched out a paw, his claws glinting in the dim light. "There is a world beyond this one, a magical realm that few humans have ever seen. I have been the guardian of the portal that leads to this enchanted forest for generations." Emily's heart began to race. A magical forest? With talking animals? She had always loved stories of adventure and fantasy, and now one was unfolding right in front of her. "Indeed," Whiskers said, "the forest is in grave danger, and I believe you are the one who can help us restore the balance." Emily felt a surge of excitement and determination. "What do I have to do?" she asked, ready to face any challenge. Whiskers stood up and looked at her steadily. "First, we must journey through the portal and enter the enchanted forest. Are you prepared for an incredible adventure, Emily?" Emily nodded without hesitation. "I am. Let's go." Whiskers purred and leaped off the couch, padding towards the back door. Emily followed close behind, her mind racing with questions and possibilities. As Whiskers pushed open the door, she gasped in amazement. In the middle of the backyard, a massive oak tree stood glowing with a soft, golden light. Emily had never noticed it before, but now it seemed to beckon her forward. Chapter 2: The Glowing Tree Portal. Whiskers stopped in front of a towering oak tree, its branches rustling in the breeze. "Look closely, Emily," he instructed. "Do you see the light?" Emily squinted her eyes, and as she gazed at the tree, a faint glow began to emanate from the bark. It's glowing!" she exclaimed, her voice filled with wonder. "This is the portal to the enchanted forest," Whiskers explained. "A magical doorway that connects our world to another." He turned to Emily, his expression serious. "Are you prepared to enter this wondrous realm with me?" Emily's heart raced with a mix of nervousness and excitement. I think so," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Whiskers gave her an encouraging nod. "Then let us go, my dear. The forest awaits." With that, the cat stepped forward, his body disappearing into the glowing tree trunk. Emily took a deep breath and followed, her fingertips brushing the tree's bark as she stepped through the portal. Suddenly, the world around her transformed. The backyard vanished, replaced by a lush, verdant forest bathed in a soft, golden light. Towering trees with twisted, gnarled trunks surrounded her, their branches reaching up towards the sky. The air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers and the gentle chirping of birds. Emily spun in a slow circle, her mouth agape in awe. This is incredible," she breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. Whiskers sat calmly at her feet, watching her reaction with a satisfied smile. "Welcome to the enchanted forest, Emily," he said. "This is where the magic resides, where the animals speak, and where you and I have been called to help restore the balance." Emily knelt down, her hands running over the soft moss that carpeted the ground. "Restore the balance? What do you mean?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Whiskers let out a gentle sigh. "The forest is in peril, my dear. There are dark forces at work, threatening to upset the delicate harmony that sustains this wondrous realm. That is why I've brought you here, to aid the woodland creatures in their time of need." Emily's brow furrowed with concern. What kind of problems are they facing? "A severe drought has plagued the river, leaving the animals without water," Whiskers explained. "And a group of mischievous raccoons have been causing chaos throughout the forest, bullying the other creatures. Worst of all, a precious magical acorn that maintains the balance of nature has gone missing." Emily's eyes widened. "That sounds terrible. How can I help?" Whiskers stepped closer, his tail swishing back and forth. "The animals have been waiting for a human companion to arrive and assist them. They know you are the one who can make a difference." Emily felt a surge of determination. "Then I'm ready to help. What do I need to do?" "First, we must meet the forest inhabitants and learn more about their plight," Whiskers said. There is a clearing nearby where the animals often gather. Let us make our way there and introduce you to your new friends." Without hesitation, Emily stood up, her eyes shining with purpose. "Lead the way, Whiskers. I'm ready for this adventure." The cat gave a pleased nod and began walking, his sleek body weaving through the undergrowth. Emily followed close behind, her senses overwhelmed by the magical sights and sounds of the enchanted forest. As they moved deeper into the lush greenery, she couldn't help but wonder what other wonders and challenges awaited her in this extraordinary new world. Chapter 3: Meeting the Forest Friends. Suddenly, a rustling in the bushes caught her attention, and she watched in amazement as a small rabbit emerged, its nose twitching. "Who are you?" the rabbit asked, its voice unexpectedly calm and articulate. "I haven't seen your kind in these woods before." "I'm Emily, and this is my friend Whiskers," Emily replied, crouching down to get a better look at the rabbit. "We've come to help the forest animals with their troubles. Whiskers says there are some important problems that need solving." The rabbit's ears perked up at this. "Problems, you say?" "Oh dear, there are indeed many challenges facing our home these days." It sighed, its little body drooping slightly. "I am Floppy, and I would be most grateful for any assistance you can provide." Just then, a loud squawking sound came from the branches overhead, and a large, regal-looking owl swooped down to land on a nearby tree stump. "Ah, I see we have visitors," the owl said, its eyes glinting with wisdom. "I am Alwyn, the keeper of the forest's lore. I have been expecting you, Emily and Whiskers." Emily's jaw dropped. "You were expecting us? How did you know we were coming?" Alwyn gave a small, self-important hoot. "I am the wisest of all the forest creatures. I know many things that others do not. Come, we must gather the others to discuss the challenges facing our home." Whiskers nodded sagely. "That is wise, Olwen. The forest is in grave peril, and we will need the help of all its inhabitants to restore the balance." Soon, a procession of animals began to emerge from the surrounding foliage. A bushy-tailed raccoon, a family of chattering squirrels, a curious fox, and more. They all gathered around Olwen's tree stump, their eyes filled with a mixture of apprehension and hope. "My friends," Olwen began, "this is Emily, a human child, and her companion, the magical cat Whiskers. They have come to aid us in our time of need." A murmur of surprise and excitement went through the crowd. The raccoon, a mischievous-looking creature with a mask-like face, stepped forward. "So you're the ones who are going to fix our problems, eh? Well, you've got your work cut out for you." Whiskers fixed the raccoon with a penetrating stare. "Indeed, rascal. The forest faces grave challenges, and we must work together to overcome them. Can we count on your cooperation?" Rascal shuffled his paws, looking around uneasily at the other animals. "I suppose so," he grumbled, "but don't expect me to do all the hard work." Emily reached out a hand, trying to appear confident. "Don't worry, Rascal. We're all in this together. I promise I'll do my best to help, and so will Whiskers." The nervous rabbit, Floppy, nodded shakily. "That's what we're hoping for, Emily. The forest is in terrible trouble. The river has dried up, and there's not enough water for all of us. Plus, Rascal and his gang have been causing all sorts of mischief and disrupting the balance of our home." "And that's not all," Alwyn interjected solemnly. "The magical acorn that sustains the forest's harmony has gone missing. Without it, the delicate balance of our world will be shattered." Emily felt a surge of determination. "Then we'll have to find the acorn and restore the river. Don't worry, Floppy, Rascal, and all of you. Whiskers and I will help in any way we can." Whiskers stepped forward, his green eyes gleaming. "The first task is to investigate the drought affecting the river. Floppy, can you take us there and show us what's happening?" Floppy nodded, his ears perking up. "Of course, Whiskers. Follow me, and I'll show you the way." As the group set off, Emily couldn't help but feel a tinge of both excitement and apprehension. This was certainly going to be an adventure unlike any she'd ever experienced before. But with Whiskers by her side and the help of the forest creatures, she knew they had a chance to set things right. With a deep breath, she followed the rabbit, determined to do whatever it took to save the enchanted forest. Chapter 4: The Dry River Mystery. Emily and Whiskers stood in the enchanted forest clearing, surveying the parched earth and the listless animals gathered around them. The usual babbling of the river had been replaced by a deafening silence, and the usually lush vegetation had wilted under the unforgiving sun. "The river," cried a small rabbit, his ears drooping with worry. "It's dried up. We don't know what to do." Emily knelt down, placing a gentle hand on the rabbit's trembling shoulder. "Don't worry, we're here to help," she said reassuringly. "Whiskers and I will figure this out." Whiskers stepped forward, his emerald eyes shining with wisdom. "This is a most troubling situation," he meowed. "The river is the lifeblood of the forest. Without it, all the animals will suffer." Emily looked around at the concerned faces of the forest creatures. "Tell me more about the river," she said. "What happened?" A wise old owl flapped his wings and settled on a nearby branch. "It started slowly at first," he hooted, his voice thick with concern. "The water level began to drop, and the current slowed to a trickle. We've tried everything, but nothing seems to be restoring the flow." Whiskers mused, his tail twitching thoughtfully. "This sounds like the work of a powerful magical disturbance. We must investigate the source of the problem if we are to find a solution." Emily's eyes widened with determination. "Then that's what we'll do," she said. "Whiskers and I will get to the bottom of this. Can you tell us more about the river and the surrounding area?" The owl nodded solemnly. "The river originates deep in the forest, flowing from a hidden spring. It winds its way through the trees, providing life-giving water to all who live here. But recently the spring has gone dry, and the river has dwindled to nothing." "A hidden spring, you say?" Whiskers murmured. "That must be where we need to start our investigation. Do you have any idea what might have caused the spring to dry up?" Emily asked, her brow furrowed with concern. The owl ruffled his feathers, his expression troubled. "I'm afraid I do not know for certain," he replied. "But there have been rumors of strange occurrences deep in the forest near the river's source." "Rumors?" Whiskers echoed, his voice tinged with curiosity. "What kind of strange occurrences?" "Sightings of a large, lumbering creature," the owl explained. "Some say it is a fearsome beast that has taken up residence near the spring, disrupting the delicate balance of the forest." Emily's eyes widened. "A beast?" she exclaimed. "Do you think it could be responsible for the river drying up?" The owl nodded solemnly. "It is a distinct possibility," he said. "If this creature has indeed taken control of the spring, it would explain the river's predicament." Whiskers' tail swished back and forth, his expression thoughtful. "Then we must investigate this matter further," he declared. "Emily, are you ready to venture into the forest and uncover the truth?" Emily's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "I am," she said, her voice steadfast. "Lead the way, Whiskers. I'm ready to help restore the river and save the forest." The cat nodded, his eyes filled with pride. "Then let us be off," he meowed, turning toward the dense foliage of the forest. "Time is of the essence, and the animals are counting on us." Emily took a deep breath, steeling her nerves, and followed Whiskers as he led the way into the unknown depths of the enchanted forest. The path ahead was uncertain, but she was determined to find the source of the river's drying and put an end to the threat that loomed over the delicate balance of this magical realm. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. The once vibrant greenery had given way to parched, withered plants, and the once cheerful birdsong had been replaced by an eerie silence. Whiskers paused, his ears perked forward as he scanned the area. "Do you sense that, Emily?" he murmured. "There is a dark energy permeating the air here, like a heavy veil of magic." Emily nodded, her senses heightened as she took in the oppressive atmosphere. "I feel it too," she whispered. "Whatever is causing the river to dry up must be nearby." Whiskers led the way, his steps cautious and deliberate, as they navigated the winding forest path. The further they ventured, the more the environment seemed to shift, the trees becoming more gnarled and the shadows deeper. Suddenly, a loud, rumbling sound echoed through the trees, causing Emily to jump in surprise. Whiskers paused, his hackles raised, as he listened intently. "That must be the creature the owl spoke of," the cat murmured. "We are getting close." Emily felt a surge of nervousness, but she steeled her resolve. "Let's go see what we're up against," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. Whiskers nodded, and the two continued onward, following the ominous sounds until they reached a towering dam blocking the river's flow. And standing atop the dam, its massive form casting a shadow over the parched riverbed, was a hulking, shaggy-furred creature. The beast, Whiskers breathed, his eyes narrowing. "We've found the source of the problem." Emily swallowed hard, her heart pounding in her chest, but she refused to let fear take hold. "What do we do now?" she asked, determined to find a solution. Whiskers turned to her, his expression grave. "We must confront this creature and find a way to restore the river's flow," he said. "But we will need the help of the other animals to succeed." Emily nodded, her resolve strengthening. "Then let's go back and rally the forest friends," she said. "Together, we can solve this problem and save the enchanted forest." With a newfound sense of purpose, Emily and Whiskers hurried back to the clearing, ready to gather the animals and devise a plan to confront the mysterious beast and restore the life-giving river. Chapter 5: Confronting the Raccoon Bullies. Emily stared out the window, watching the rain patter against the glass. She had explored the backyard, played with her toys, and even tried to read a book, but nothing could cure her boredom. Just then, Whiskers, her loyal tabby cat, approached her and meowed. "Emily, I have something important to tell you," Whiskers said to her utter surprise. "Whiskers, you can talk?" Emily gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. "Yes, my dear." The cat replied calmly. "I am a magical feline, and I've been waiting for you to join me on an extraordinary adventure." Emily sat in awe as Whiskers revealed the existence of a secret, enchanted forest, accessible through a glowing portal in the backyard. Without hesitation, Emily decided to follow her newfound talking companion into the unknown. As they stepped through the shimmering tree, Emily found herself in a lush, vibrant world teeming with talking animals. The forest creatures greeted them warmly, eager for their assistance in solving a series of pressing problems. "The river has dried up and our water supply is dwindling," a wise old owl named Hoots explained. "We fear the delicate balance of our enchanted home is in jeopardy." Emily listened intently as the animals detailed their other concerns: a group of mischievous raccoons causing chaos and the loss of a precious magical acorn that was crucial to maintaining the forest's harmony. "We were hoping you and Whiskers could help us," pleaded a timid rabbit named Thumper. "We've tried to resolve these issues on our own, but we're running out of ideas." Emily felt a surge of determination. "Don't worry, Thumper. Whiskers and I will do everything we can to help," she assured the rabbit. Whiskers nodded approvingly. "Excellent, Emily. We shall begin our investigation at once." The first problem they tackled was the mysterious drought affecting the river. Guided by Hoot's wisdom, Emily and Whiskers set out to discover the root cause. They followed the winding path along the riverbed, observing the cracked, dry earth and the dwindling trickle of water. Suddenly, they heard the distinct sound of gnawing and splashing. Creeping closer, they stumbled upon a group of beavers hard at work constructing a massive dam, diverting the river's flow. "Stop!" Emily called out. "You're cutting off the water supply for the entire forest." The beaver foreman, a burly creature named Buckteeth, eyed them warily. "This is our territory. We need the water to survive," he grumbled. Emily knew she had to find a diplomatic solution. Thinking quickly, she suggested a compromise. "What if we work together to build a system that allows the water to flow through, while still providing you with a reliable source?" Buckteeth considered her proposal, then nodded grudgingly. "Very well, human. We will collaborate, but only if you promise to leave our dam alone." With the beavers' cooperation, Emily and Whiskers devised an ingenious system of channels and diversions that restored the river's flow without disrupting the animals' homes. The grateful forest dwellers cheered as the water began to rush through the riverbed once more. Having solved the first challenge, Emily and Whiskers moved on to addressing the issue of the mischievous raccoons. The animals described the raccoons' relentless antics, tipping over food stores, causing chaos in the communal gathering areas, and generally making a nuisance of themselves. "They're led by the most troublesome of the bunch, Bandit," explained a nervous squirrel named Nutkin. "He's always coming up with new ways to cause trouble." Emily knew they needed a delicate approach to confront the raccoons. Gathering the forest friends, she formulated a plan to appeal directly to Bandit and his gang. "We must show them the importance of kindness and cooperation," Emily said. "If we can reach them on a personal level, perhaps they'll see the error of their ways." Whiskers nodded in agreement. "A wise strategy, my dear. Let us proceed with empathy and understanding." The group ventured to the raccoon's den, where Bandit and his cohorts were busy hoarding stolen acorns and other forest treasures. Emily stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "Bandit, I know you and your friends have been causing a lot of problems for the other animals, but we don't have to be enemies," she said. "If we work together, we can make this forest an even better place for all of us to live." Bandit eyed her skeptically. "What's in it for us?" he demanded. "Why should we listen to you?" Emily took a deep breath. "Because we all deserve to feel safe and happy here. The forest provides everything we need, but only if we learn to share and respect one another." Whiskers added, "Your antics have disrupted the delicate balance of this enchanted realm. If you continue on this path, you will only bring harm to yourselves and the entire community." The other raccoons shuffled nervously, some nodding in agreement with Whiskers' words. Bandit seemed to waver, his expression shifting from defiance to contemplation. Finally, he sighed. All right. We'll tone it down a bit, but don't expect us to become goody two-shoes like the rest of you." Emily smiled warmly. "That's all I ask. If we work together, I'm sure we can find ways for everyone to thrive." The raccoons begrudgingly agreed to modify their behavior, and the forest animals breathed a collective sigh of relief. Emily had demonstrated her ability to navigate complex social dynamics using empathy and compromise to resolve the conflict. As the sun began to set, the various creatures gathered in a clearing to celebrate their progress. Fireflies danced in the dusky air, and the animals shared stories and laughter. Emily felt a deep sense of belonging, surrounded by her newfound friends. Whiskers approached her, his eyes shining with pride. "You have handled these challenges with remarkable wisdom and compassion, Emily. I knew you were the perfect companion to help restore balance to this enchanted realm." Emily beamed. "Thank you, Whiskers. I'm just glad I could make a difference. But there's still one more problem we need to solve. What about this missing magical acorn?" The cat nodded solemnly. "Indeed, the acorn's loss has disrupted the forest's delicate harmony. We must find it, or the consequences could be dire." Emily steeled her resolve. "Then, that's what we'll do next. With all of us working together, I know we can overcome any obstacle." As the fireflies continued to illuminate the clearing, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was no longer the bored, restless girl from the real world. She was a hero, destined to protect the enchanted forest and its inhabitants. With Whiskers by her side, she was ready to face the final challenge.